there's two types of apology. There's the I'm sorry that you didn't like what I said.
I'm sorry you're so sensitive.
Or that you're so sensitive, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is better than nothing,
Yeah.
but a much better apology. You can unpack that for a long time, John, is I'm taking responsibility. I blew it. I sinned against you.
Mm-hmm.
How can I make this better?
Amazing thing is going to happen today. You are going to change. It might be on purpose, might be by accident, might be for better, might be for worse. Could be a little bit, could be quite a lot, but by the time your head hits the pillow tonight, you're going to be a different person than you were when you started this morning. And one more thing, you will never get this day again. This is the only chance you have to use this day to grow towards the person that you want to be. We're thinking about character. And in many ways, I think really this whole series that we're doing about developing character is just a reflection of a single command of Jesus. In Matthew 6:33, he says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And righteousness is just a word about what makes a character genuinely good from the inside. It's gotten way too religious, unfortunately. And the way that we do that isn't by trying to follow a lot of rules. It's actually by looking for God. Where are you? Where's your love? Where's your peace? Where are you joy? How do I find it in this moment with my good friend, Dr. Rick? And then how do I become a vehicle of it? Now, Rick, you're a psychologist. You're a therapist. How often do people come to you? I know they come and say, I'm anxious, or I'm depressed, or I have obsessive thoughts. How often do they come and say, I'm having a character problem. I want you to help me with my character?
Infrequently.
Has that ever happened?
Yes. I think a couple people have come in with the idea of wanting to be a better person.
Yeah.
So I think of that as character. And very early in a new therapy relationship, I will generally say one of the ways that I try to be useful and helpful as a counselor is to think about what is the best or better version of you. One of your old books talked about that, the Me I Want to Be. Remember that? God's best version of you, a better version of you. And people I've just seen really like that idea. They love thinking about that way.
And by the way, looking at you here reminds me, you might even be able to hear that the car is running right now. We're not driving. This is not a self-driving car. We are parked at the beach in Ventura.
Beautiful. Yes.
It's a gorgeous day, but it's a little bit warm. And so the air conditioning is on, but we're just sitting here parked, so it's okay.
That's probably a good caveat.
Yeah, it probably is for my mom if she's watching this and getting a little bit nervous.
That's funny.
So I was thinking about this, in psychology, there's this manual, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. And it quite carefully diagnoses people psychologically. There's not really a character manual to diagnose folks. And when we were talking about this, we also both love to read, often love reading the same kinds of books. And you were telling me about a little framework that you discovered in a book that is helpful for people who are wanting to reflect on their character and wonder how do I diagnose my character?
It was weirdly when I learned you were doing a thing on character, the first thing that came to my mind, and of course you remember early in our friendship, we both loved Sherlock Holmes.
Yep.
So another mystery writer, this is from a fiction series by Louise Penny, and she's got 18 or 19 volumes, which I've just lapped up over the last few years. And her main protagonist is a guy named Inspector Gamache, Armand Gamache. It's French, probably butchering it. And early in the first book, which I, to my delight, learned you and Nancy just listened to.
Just a month ago.
Still Life.
Loved it. Yep.
And it's a great book, and it's a great intro to the series. But he's this wise character in the series, and he's training new recruits all the time in the Sûreté in Canada. And he's training, and he says that there are 4 statements that he said that lead to wisdom. And when I read that, when I think about it, it's what came to my mind with character. And here's the 4 statements that he's constantly trying to impart to his police colleagues. I was wrong.
I was wrong.
I'm sorry. I don't know. And I need help. And I think I bring these up in therapy sometimes, John.
Really?
Yeah, I do, because people know that I love to read. I've loved
Yeah.
to read my whole life, and I love stories, and some great truths come out, obviously. And my wife's an English professor, so we both love that together. And I was just thinking, those, I believe, are strong quality character elements to be able to do that. And I thought maybe it'd just be fun to even have you weigh in on each of those.
Say
to
a word
unpack
about
them.
when you walk through with folks that are clients or people who are wanting to change, because you will change today, for better, for worse. And this is a way to help it be for better and help it be a little bit on purpose. Let's go through them each and ask, what does it say about our character? How does it develop character? The first one, I was wrong.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And in some ways, each of these are trying to counter what I have seen over the years is a natural inclination towards defensiveness.
Yeah.
When we're challenged, and I think being challenged, it's one of the things I love about our friendship, is fundamental to character growth, to character change.
I remember hearing Dallas Willard say one time, and I thought this was a really interesting observation, with Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were innocent, but they didn't have character.
Oh, I've not heard that statement.
A baby is innocent, but a baby doesn't have character.
Yeah.
And character has to be grown. It has to be developed.
Yes.
We aren't just automatically gifted with it. And that's why it's a learning process. And I think sometimes in our society, we think a lot about how do we develop. Physically, you can get a trainer. Financially, get a financial advisor. Even psychologically, how to deal with stress, go see a therapist. But who do you go to for character development?
Yeah.
And so to have a little framework like that, I was wrong means I am willing to accept a level of pain and take the blame for something.
To take the blame,
and
rather
that's
than
always
push
humbling.
it off.
Yep.
Yeah, it is very humbling.
And it's interesting, going back to the Genesis and the story of Adam and Eve, neither one of them could say that when God said, what's going on here? Where are you? Adam could not say, I was wrong. It was the woman. Eve could not say, I was wrong. It was the serpent.
And I'm thinking of a couple cases in the past where this has come up.
With clients?
And with clients.
You
and
say their names right now?
And I'll have them
who
practice,
you are.
in the spirit of changing today, have them practice. Find a way that you were wrong.
Oh, wow.
And practice saying that statement.
Wow.
Let's take this from just being an idea and say to somebody that matters to you. And it's not really that hard to find a place where you're wrong and say, I was wrong.
Yep.
And the next one is, I'm sorry. And think about what is a quality apology. You know how many times in therapy I have heard someone say, he's never said sorry in our whole marriage. Or my mother or my father has never apologized.
I'm thinking about somebody that I know who would say, I'm sorry all the time, except when it was actually their fault.
Really?
Yeah. So if I came in and said, I have a headache, I'm so sorry. Traffic's really bad today, I'm so sorry. But then if they had actually done something wrong, the defensiveness went way up. So
well, and I have learned there's two types of I'm sorry. There's two types of apology. There's the I'm sorry that you didn't like what I said.
I'm sorry you're so sensitive.
Or that you're so sensitive, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is better than nothing,
but
a much better apology. You can unpack that for a long time, John, is I'm taking responsibility. I blew it. I sinned against you. How can I make this better? People can feel if you have genuine remorse. Sometimes I call this a sackcloth and ashes apology. And that's the best kind.
That's so good.
And again, to think about in your character, I don't think that comes easily for me. I think my defensiveness gets in the way of I'm sorry all the time.
And then I don't know.
Think about I don't know.
Yeah.
So the inflated self, the one-up version of ourself has a really hard time saying I don't know.
I was reading something about that recently, and the author was pointing out, even with little kids, he's like, oh yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
A 4-year-old, they will claim to know everything. But I love that little phrase, the inflated self has a hard time.
And here's an example. Somebody brings up a book. I said earlier that I like books. I have a weird natural inclination to say things like, I know that book.
Totally.
I read that book.
Yep.
And it's not
Yep.
always true. And
Yeah.
I think, what is wrong with me to say, I don't know about that book. Could
Yeah.
you please tell me about
Never
that
read
book?
it. Never heard of that.
Or
Don't know
even
that
if I've
person.
heard of it, you know,
Yeah.
because you're supposed to have read that book or
Mhm.
something. Again, I feel like I don't know is something you maybe just have to practice.
Yeah.
You know, last series about building habits and
Yep.
building practices.
Yep.
To say I don't know. That's just one little example.
And then I need help.
I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wow, how hard that is. I mean, I'm thinking about your I can't, God can,
Mhm.
I think I'll let him. It's embedded in that too. To be able to reach out to say to your spouse, to your pastor, to your friend, I don't have the answer. I don't know what to do. I need help with this.
Remember Nancy telling me she was very struck. 2 women that she knew where they had just had friction, difficult relationship, and one of them was going to a prom or something, and asked the other one, "Could you help me with your hair? Because I love the way that you do yours."
Mm.
And it was interesting. The beginning of a turnaround in a relationship was
Really?
not even a compliment or a gift. It was asking for help. And I think
Yeah.
about Jesus, like with the Samaritan woman at the well. Could I have a drink of water?
Yeah. Yeah.
Asking for. Okay, so today. You're going to change.
You're gonna change.
Could change for the better. Find a way to use at least one, maybe all four. You
Maybe
get a
all
big
four.
bonus if you get it all four. If you get all four, you write and let us know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I was wrong. I'm sorry. I don't know. I do need help. And the good news is, with our friend Jesus, help is on the way. See you next time. Thank you. It's great.
Hey, I'm Tim. Thanks for joining us. Before you leave, you can subscribe to this channel or like this video or comment on the video. We love to read those comments. We read them every day, so we'd love to hear from you there. If you'd like to receive the emails that go along with each video, you can let us know at becomenew.com/subscribe. Or if you have a prayer request, we would love to pray for you. You can text that request to 855-888-0444. See you next time.